when we look at media and we want to say, think about editing that media, one of the first things we do is review the media. There's a few different ways to do this. There is several different views and workspaces, and you could go into the assembly area to do logging of media, but to be quite honest, I just stay in the editing tool because it's very convenient to me. But it is also wise, before we get started, to know if when you open this tool you're not seeing things the way I'm seeing them, to double check your workspace, because I will start working and I will show you what I'm doing in editing mode. We'll look at some of these other tools like the effects tool and graphics and stuff and color later on, but when we're first getting started, this is probably enough, right? So just look in the editing tool. The way that you can look at these clips is if you're in the bin and you double click, it will just load into the source viewer, and the source viewer will allow you to preview the file. So this is where we start to learn shortcuts. And I know this is a lot, but it's very, very important, because when you're editing, there's so much you have to do. You don't want to be spending time running around with a mouse touching all of the little doodads on the graphic user interface. The amount of time you save just by using shortcuts is phenomenal. So it's very worthwhile. The other thing that's probably really important is to note that the controls that you have here don't necessarily help you with forward and backward so much. It's play and stop, but things like fast forward and fast reverse and playing at different speeds, it's accessible through shortcuts, but it's not represented in this little graphic user interface area. So if I want to play this file, the three keys I want to think about are the J, K, and L keys on my keyboard. We don't need any modifiers. But if I hit L, it will play.
Count. One apple, take one, mark.
If I hit K, it will stop. And if I hit J, it will go backwards.
No.
The good thing about this is that you can be operating your keyboard with one hand, have your mouse in the other, depending on whether you are right or left dominant. But you just arrange yourself so that you're in a comfortable position, knowing that you will probably be predominantly only using your keyboard with one hand while you're using a mouse with the other. And the J, K, and L keys will help you to negotiate these clips. So I'm going to play by hitting L.
One apple, take one, mark.
And then I'm going to hit it a few more times.
Action.
Okay, I'm really sorry your son lost his job.
So when you hit it a few subsequent times, it'll speed up faster and faster. And at some point, it will just lose the capacity to play the sound because it's going too fast to sample. Same with backwards. If I hit J multiple times, it'll speed up. And then it'll get to the point where it's... If you just hit it over and over again, you can just zip through the clip as fast as it'll let you, right? Zip, zip, zip. Right? So I'm not touching my mouse. I'm not using this. I'm just using... And then I can say...
Okay, I'm really sorry.
I can find exactly where he starts talking to start the actual scene. And so when we're using these J, K, and L keys, it helps us to navigate to get close to where we want to start marking up clips. Right? That's really, really handy. The great thing about the J, K, and L keys is that right above them are the I and O keys, and I and O are the shortcuts for in and out. And that's what you would use to mark a clip.
Okay, I'm really sorry your son lost his job, and I truly am.
So when I use my in and out keys in combination with my J, K, and L keys, not only am I quickly going through and reviewing my media, but I could be making notes about what it is that I see. And when I go through different clips, say I go and load a different clip, and then I go back to this clip, it remembers the last settings that I had. So if you're going through your media and you're trying to sort of figure out what you want to do and you're not sure, but you think, oh, this is a good bit, you can mark it up with the in and out keys if you want to. The other thing you can do is use markers. Markers are great when you're getting used to media and you want to make notes. So if you hit the M key, you'll get a marker. Now this is super handy because when I get that marker, I can click on that and it'll open this marker up and I can go make some notes about how awesome this clip is and make really particular notes. I can color code them. So maybe this is like something that I want to bring attention to. Maybe I've got a color coded system. Usually you want to have a system you want to figure out for you. Maybe red is like, ooh, there's something wrong here. Or maybe it's, you know, the best thing on the planet. Maybe red's for like the fire hot, awesome acting of beautiful goodness. Whatever it is, you can make notes and you can assign a color. And they can be used for comments, so they can also be used for other things in case you are doing some automation later. But the great thing is if once I've done this, if I just hover over it, it'll give me a summary of my notes. And then the other thing is, one of the list items we have here is for markers. So if you've been going through media and doing extensive markup on that media using markers, you can then go through and look at your notes, and it'll help you remind yourself of the things you were looking at on different clips. And if you then were, say for instance, let me go back to my bin, and I'm in here, and I'm looking at something else. You know, I'm doing whatever I'm doing. And I come in here and I look for my markers, and you say, oh, there's no markers. Oh, boo, where's my markers? So here's the thing. It's not really going to show you markers unless you've got that clip. So when I've got that clip and I go to my markers, it will give it to me. It's a little bit annoying, but it is there for you. If, for example, you wanted to be in an environment where you can see everything side by side, these are all tabs. You can yank it out and shove it somewhere else. And you can look at it all contextually together. So you could be looking at your bin and looking at your markers at the same time. This is a flexible layout, and it lets you do a few things, and you can save your own layouts and all this kind of stuff. I can zip back and forth between these things if what I really want to do is be looking at my clips, making notes, and doing some clip logging. If I want to do that, I can. This is all stuff that you do when you're just setting a job up before you start editing. So it's really important to know that you can do this. The other thing that you can do, which you may find very, very helpful, is say, for instance, I have really long clips, which is what you're going to probably wind up dealing with when you look at your project, which is making a promo. If I have, say, for instance, this is a scene from Bingo Night, which is an edit shop project. If I was looking at the final cut of this, which is maybe a 10-minute long thing, and I'm looking to make some little clips that I can edit with, I might want to use the subclip function. The subclip function allows me to take this in and out point and convert it to an independent clip, or a clip that's still linked to this clip, but looks like a separate clip. So if I go Command U, I can make a subclip. There's two ways I can make a subclip. I can restrict the trim to the subclip boundaries, which means in a sense I'm making a new clip where the in and out point are the absolute finite boundaries of the media. It's not linked back to the master clip in a way that lets me extend the clip beyond the in and out point. That's what that is. So if I do that, and I grab this clip and I start editing with that clip, let me just zoom in. Scooch. This is how you zoom in. Whee! Right in there. You'll notice that there's these little white doodads on the corners of the clip. This means that that's the limit of the media. There's nothing left. All the other media that was beyond that clip, it's gone. If instead, send that to the trash, right? If instead I make a subclip and I don't restrict the limits on the media, and you can give these things meaningful names as you wish, right? You don't have to call it blah, blah, blah subclip. You can give it a name that's helpful to you. But I would still retain the prefix so that you know where it came from. If I make a subclip and I don't have that constraint on it, and I edit with that, you'll notice that it still has the flexibility to extend the media. And it's really accessing the media of the main clip. So that's extremely helpful. But it still means that you can have little bits and pieces of media that are organized in a way where you can give them names that are meaningful for you to help you organize yourself mentally for the job of putting your edit together. So when you're just getting started, you're going to be looking at media. You're going to be using the J, K, and L keys to navigate through clips. You're going to be using the in and out keys.
Look, I'm really sorry that your son lost his job. Okay, I truly am.
Right? You're looking at different things. You're using the in and out keys, I, O. You're using the J, K, and L keys, backwards, stop, and forwards. And you might be using the marker key, M, to add notes to clips. Right? So those sorts of things are good when you're just getting started. And in the next video, we're going to look at 3-point editing. We're going to explore a little bit of what these tools are here for and how you can use 3-point editing to get started doing a rough assembly of your project in your timeline.